People have been building ships for hundreds of years on the banks of the Lagan. Belfast was a small town, settled round the head of a quiet sea loch when it drifted towards shipbuilding fame. But on an artificial island, dredged from the bed of the Lagan, a home was made for a more serious shipbuilding business in the 1850s. The Industrial Revolution had hit Belfast late, but when it struck, it sent the city spinning. The Victorian age saw a startling change in the structure and design of ships. The yard's success was down to a couple of strangers, one from Yorkshire in England, the other from Hamburg in Germany. Their energy and flair brought Belfast fame and fortune. Edward Harland and Gustav Wolff. Their own names echo through the generations, like the names of the Belfast ships.
The Duke of York, the Duke of Argyll, the Olympic, the Oceanic, the Edinburgh Castle, the Galway Castle, the Venetian, the Canberra, the Auckland Star, Majestic, the Galway Princess.
In the Queen's Island shipyard, skills were harnessed to toil. Men felt dwarfed by the machinery they handled. They had to be hard, but couldn't give in to hardship.
There always has been a fairly good-natured approach because of the nature of the product. The ship itself is a big, sometimes dangerous. You need to have your wits about you when you're building a ship in the open. Similarly, in building these very large diesel engines and running them.
launch of the 28,500-ton Union Castle liner Pretoria Castle at Belfast was undoubtedly a novel as well as an auspicious occasion. She's the largest British-built merchant ship to be launched since the war, and it was naturally a proud moment for Sir Vernon Thompson, chairman of the line.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Smuts. Everything here in Belfast is ready for you to name and launch our new mail ship for the South Africa service, if you please. Now.
The launching was by radio, and from her home 6,000 miles away, Mrs. Smuts carried out the ceremony. This graceful vessel will be completed in February for the South African run. Her sister ship, Edinburgh Castle, will be launched by Princess Margaret in October. In these days of economic anxiety, it's heartening to be reminded that Britain is still supreme as a shipbuilding nation and a maritime power.
Well, the day that I can remember most vividly since I came down to the shipyard was the day that they launched the Sea Quest round in the Musgrave Yard. It was a lovely day, and there was thousands of people lined along the jetties and along the Musgrave Channel Road, and they were all sort of wound up. And first of all, the Sea Quest started to move imperceptibly. You know, you could hardly have seen it, just an inch at a time. She started to move, and then the crowd seen her coming down, and a huge cheer went up.
Half of the shipyard was there cheering and crying, you know.
It was a terrific day. I'll never forget it anyway.
From the green fields of County Down, the young countrymen, small farmers and farm labourers were transformed into riveters and riggers by Harland and Wolff. They swarmed in a red brick hive called Ballymacarrat. They were built for hard work and seemed to settle quickly. Somehow or other, the old rural values of kinship, ritual and esteem for the individual survived. The work was close, the families were close. They survived depressions, wars, and the culture even survives the planners.
I lived in a street, a very famous street, Cornely Street, off York Street. This street had one famous son, James Galway, the flutist. I knew the father extra well because he worked the shipyard with me here, and he was what we call a straightener. He was a character. He was always full of fun. The men called him Jumbo Galway. Well, James' father often done without his cigarettes and his drink, so as James could have a flute, a new flute. James wrote in his book about 2 pianos in the street, and that was perfectly true, because during the Blitz, I remember as a boy them pulling a piano out of one of the houses in the height of the Blitz, and somebody actually sat down and played it. I can remember that as if it was yesterday. And another lady, she played the mandolin, and we were quite a street for talent.
He started work in the shipyard at 14 and finished up as Lord Mayor of Belfast.
Tommy Patton looks back on the days of the catch boy, the heater boy, the howler up, the riveter.
There I could hear the rhythm of the riveting hammers and the working men coming right across, say, just an evening. It was beginning to get dusk. You could hear this great noise coming right over East Belfast of the riveting hammers, and it used to be, you know, glorious to listen to it. And it was mostly hand riveting. The men in those days were very strong and powerful men. There was 4 then. There was 2 riveters and a hauler up and a heater boy, and that's the man I started to work with first in the shipyard, Pepper McWilliam. Well, I started in the shipyard in 1928, and in those days there was no electricity, no lamps or anything like that there. You had to get there were great big paraffin lamps that showed you your way around the ships. And where you couldn't get a paraffin lamp, then you got a red candle belonging to Harland and Wolff, and you went all around the place with a red candle. That was your light.
It was my granda that painted the H&W on the big crane. When he was away up there, he could see the Isle of Man and the Mourne Mountains. And he could look into all the ships.